Welcome back to Dum-Dums and Dragons, where improvisers who've never roleplayed before journey into the world of Dungeons and Dragons. I am the Grand Wizard Bukake, your host. Welcome to our very first mini-episode. Having defeated Archibald Tingler and freed the Sword Coast temporarily, for the first time our heroes have to determine their own next steps. Will they focus on finding Alan? Or will they focus on the war with Akar? Or perhaps will they figure out if Juniper's scroll is really bullshit? Find out next on Dum-Dums and Dragons.
Upon returning to the SS McSquiggly, you receive a few global updates. First of all, you all gain a level from your excellent battling and war. Bryn has received word from some of her spies. She's been carrying out her own investigation into Alan's disappearance, and someone matching Xanthus's description has been spotted near the Underdark. In doing additional research, it seems the name Xanthus is actually known as a scholar of some note here in this world. So she's got a lead on Alan. Xanthus appears to be somewhere near the Underdark. Meanwhile, you are getting reports from a lady who seems to have kind of declared herself the commander of the resistance in lieu of other people being there, Shenvray from the front, saying there is a disgruntled orc who is demanding an audience. You also have received some mail, a very strange letter from King Mudbutt that just says, "So are you coming or not?" and two boxes that say yes, no. So you don't have much information about Mudbutt, so that's not an active lead. So there's a lead on Xanthus. There's the disgruntled orc. You also have word that the port of Nyanzaru has been seized by the dragon cult, who seem to be getting a foothold in the lands of the east as an allied force of the Unseen Hand. That's bad news. Also, Butthole, you've received a letter that isn't signed, but has the sigil of the Plantiers. And upon opening, it just says, "Good work," and it smells like just the best perfume. You just can't help but sigh and swoon a bit.
This is pretty great, because, I just get a lot of crap, and this is like not murder. Lovely.
You got some perfume swatches in the mail? That's nice.
I'm going to keep it in my pocket.
So those are the leads you have. As a team, it's up to you to determine which lead you want to follow up on first.
Okay, so we've got our options laid out. We've discussed them, what's important. We've shared with each other, like, something came in from Mudbutt.
Sitting in that abandoned secret back half of the McSquiggly.
And Quinny, I think, is just like, so I don't get it. How are the Unseen Hand forces still operating this efficiently and waging war if we killed Archibald Tingler?
The problem with the way the whole Tingler setup is in the Nation of Akar is that it's a mix of religion and state. So we killed one of the two leaders, but they're sort of separate and combined.
Is your mom the other one?
Yeah, that's the problem. It's like a check and a balance where if the king of Akar or queen of Akar gets too big, then the church can knock them down, or reverse, only they decided to team up and start making babies and then became giant unstoppable dictators. So now that he's dead, she inherited all of the power, which might be honestly a little scarier. I don't know her that well.
You don't know your mom?
Like, they're not big parents in the traditional sense. And between the two of them, if you were going to say that like one was sort of a hammer and the other was a knife in the dark, we just took out the hammer.
So we won't see her coming.
Maybe not. She's less brutal, but she's smarter and equally ruthless. So like, this is not... we really wanted to get them both, to be honest.
Okay.
But I mean, I technically am an heir to that throne, and I've got the sigil, which means maybe one day I could throw my hat in the ring, because if they're having a secession war, technically I'm a contender, but it's sort of like being the king's son they've disavowed who lives continents away. You got to get there and actually show up with force, or you're just going to get murdered.
Right.
So we've got, it's got to be Pimp Him, right? We can't trust those fucking goblins that he died.
We did hear that he died. Is it something we should follow up with and make sure he hasn't been reanimated or some fucking
or it's
shit?
Like he's got a twin brother named Bim Bim. Like, I have no idea what the hell that is.
Speaking of which, do we have any more brothers or sisters or uncles or whatever to expect from you?
I'm only aware of myself and Reginald. Admittedly, I have been out here for like 10 years, so maybe I got like a kid sibling, but I doubt it.
I could take a kid.
That is probably true, but I'm disturbed that murdering a child was your first thought.
I said take. I didn't say murder. So I'm talking about kidnapping, I guess, or beating up.
I preferred kidnapping, but we're just going to let this ride. So we've got that. We've got Xanthus. There's some leads there, so we might be able to get Alan back.
Yeah.
Or we have the Dragon Cult, which we know is part of the Unseen Hand holding Port Nyanzaru.
I've been reading up on how to get Alan back as well. And I don't know if you saw this or not, but I swear I saw Alan in that chamber at Neverwinter.
I just had my dad's voice in my brain yelling, "Kill your friends," just over and over again, compulsively controlling my body. So honestly, I couldn't really see anything.
Her hand came through a portal or something, and Billy Fingers absorbed her.
Billy Fingers skitters over and waves in a very distinctly, hello, wave.
Who cut off her hand?
The portal closed, I guess, and Hand was here, and
So
she's...
Alan used some magic she didn't have control of. Ooh, what a twist.
But she's around. She's not gone, and
So she's alive, which is good.
she's helping us. She gave me that thing that broke your father's control over you.
That's very useful.
The Great Collide is happening. It's coming. And the Xanthus, from what I know about Alan and what happened, like this has to be part of it, right?
Is this what that scroll that only you can read
Yes.
says?
I mean, the Great Collide, it's not just for me, right? Like this is the whole world.
I want to propose something. Quinny, you've got that medallion that lets you go into people's minds, right?
Yeah.
You've got a scroll, Juniper, I'm assuming you're
Yeah.
Juniper right now.
Yeah.
You've got a scroll that you are telling us says things when we can't prove it.
Yeah.
Could you read the scroll, and Quinny, could you read her mind so we could see if the scroll says stuff or if she's just making shit up?
Yeah, I guess so.
I'll say you're able to do that pretty effectively. Yeah.
Okay.
Quinny, you get the sense that 100% Juniper is telling the truth about what's on the scroll.
All right, man. Yeah, Great Collide. It's coming. We got to prepare.
Okay, so we sort of have our options. And we got fucking Mudbutt. I love the prince. But this invitation, and I pulled up, it just says, "Are you coming? Yes, no." I don't know how this applies to anything bigger that's going on. So would anyone object to just sending a letter back that says, "Coming where, for what"?
That seems like an RSVP to a party, and the last party we went to was fucked up. Yeah, maybe a little more details before we say yes or no.
Okay, we'll send Mudbutt a letter to try to get some more info. It'll probably be equally cryptic, but
Cool.
If this Great Collide thing is coming and we've got to fight a war, we're going to need to get as many allies as possible.
yes. Do we think we'd get the most allies from, I don't know what the Orc wants? Alan is one ally, but Xanthus is a question mark. Do we have to go to Nyanzaru to get the Dragon Cult? Because that seems like there's a whole city that is fucked right now.
Yeah, I mean, Xanthus took a lot of our people.
Do you know what? We might be able to get Ranger and the rest of the crew back. And we don't know what's going on in the Underdark. They don't seem to have a stake in this, but we might be able to get them involved. So it seems like smartest might be Nyanzaru or Underdark.
Yeah, all right.
Juniper, you've been quiet.
My role is to bring light to dark places. So let's go with Underdark.
I mean, that's a lot of darkness, yeah.
Do you know what? Here's the real reason we have to do this. We've got to get Ranger back. He's everyone's best friend.
I hate that guy.
Everybody loves Ranger. There's
hate
no
him.
one here who would have a bad time if we had
If I'm
Ranger
here,
around
I would have a bad time.
all the time.
I hate
He's perfect.
He's the worst.
We're going there.
And thus began the quest for Ranger.
This episode of Dum-Dums and Dragons features the voices of Ryan LaPlante at the Ryan LaPlante on Twitter, Tyler Hewitt at Tyler_Hewitt on Twitter, Laura Hamstra at EL Hamstring on Twitter, and our DM Tom McGee at McGeeTD on Twitter. This episode's sound was edited and mixed by Laura Hamstra, and Dum-Dums and Dragons artwork is by Del Borovic, who can be found at delborovic.com. Our theme songs are And Now for That Massive Coronary and Skipping Through the Orchestra Pit Part 1 by Peter Gresser, and our ad music is No Control and Chiefs by Jazzar, JAHZZAR, all available at freemusicarchive.org. When it comes to Dum-Dums and Dice, you can visit our website at dumdumdice.com. Our Twitter and Instagram are at dumdumdice, and on Facebook at facebook.com/dumdumdice. But most importantly, we've got merchandise at redbubble.com/people/dumdumdice, or you can join our Patreon at patreon.com/dumdumdice. That's DUMBDICE. And tune in next week for more Dum-Dums and Dragons.